Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Valley News Live at 10 o'clock. A nice quiet look at our Luther Family Ford Skycam at this hour. Shows a few clouds out there, but really we are quiet. Maybe a bit of a breeze shaking the camera a bit. Starting to see a northwest breeze move into some of our neighborhoods as that low pressure system up in Manitoba is starting to move its way through. Notice the west wind in Fargo right now after we had a south wind pretty much all day long. So we are starting to see that rotation of the wind from south to northwest. So west at 13 is indicative that we are seeing some drier air moving in. The proof of that, the dew point, is now down to 67 degrees. If you were joining us Valley News Live at 9 o'clock, we had low 70s for dew points. Dew points already come down about 4 degrees, which just feels better. The relative humidity is down to 66%. Still feels like 81 degrees though at Hector International Airport and in Grand Forks. That west wind also at 13 miles per hour, bringing some drier air in with that dew point also in the upper 60s. So still not a cakewalk when it comes to humidity, but it's definitely indicative of signs drier air is moving in. 78 right now there in Grand Forks. Temperatures still seeing those upper 70s, lower 80s. It's still 82 in Sisseton, still 82 in Oak, still 84 in Detroit Lakes and in Wadena, but 70 in Langdon. Starting to see that cooler air finally waft its way in. And then there's those mid-70s in Halleck and Roseau as we speak. So radar shows this low pressure system that is starting to bring some of that northwesterly wind here in. So the hot, humid air is basically from, we'll say, the Wahpeton, Breckenridge area and off toward the south where those robust storms are occurring currently there in South Dakota. But this low pressure is going to bring that northwest wind to our region and make things cooler and drier for tomorrow. So there's still that little narrow band of green moving from Fergus Falls off toward, we'll say, Aberdeen. Maybe a few spits of rain, all we're expecting from that little cluster with a few passing clouds. But big picture shows Ontario getting the worst of this low pressure system. That red you see, a Canadian tornado watch. The yellow, a Canadian severe thunderstorm watch. So that's right near the center of that low pressure system where that the more spin in the atmosphere is. And you can see just how intense these storms are. They're calling for 90 to 100 kilometer per hour winds, which is 50 to 60 mile per hour wind in the American standards there with that cluster of storms moving through Lac Seul. But of course, in northern Minnesota, you see that we are in the slight risk. I think now that we've hit 10 o'clock, our risk is done. So that's the good news. This system is pushing its way eastward. Things will be quiet from here on out overnight. So there's that little band of narrow green that we're seeing there toward the south. There's that cluster up there near Kenora. So for us, we're just seeing a few light spits of rain, mainly in the southern valley, all we're expecting overnight. Notice that northwest wind by 2 a.m. starts to really work its way into the Devil's Lake Basin and starts to kick some of those clouds off toward the south and east, moves those showers off toward the south and east as well. Those storms near Watertown stay to our south and move east into central Minnesota. So by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, northwest wind will be a bit breezy, we'll say 10 to 20 miles per hour. 50s toward the north where that cooler air is moving in first. 60s for most everybody else by tomorrow morning. And the northwest wind with us all day long. A few passing clouds, but high pressure is moving in, which means we're quiet for the middle part of our business week. 60s and 70s by lunchtime tomorrow. 70s, about all we're expecting for high temperatures. Maybe be able to squeak out some upper 70s, lower 80s toward the south, but it'll be nice and comfortable, not as humid. And boy, nice and comfortable with those temperatures as well. 4 o'clock, looking at 70s for most everybody. So that's all we've got for you for Wednesday. Looking pretty quiet and not as humid. But there's that wind. You can see northwesterly and northerly around 10 to 20 miles per hour all day. Could get some gusts around 30 miles per hour tomorrow, which will keep our temperatures very muted in the mid-70s only for high temperatures tomorrow. Hometown forecast shows maybe even lower 70s, all we're expecting up toward the north, and again, maybe some low 80s with plenty of sunshine expected as high pressure moves in for Wednesday. But boy, the oven's right back on for Thursday, Friday. 90 Thursday, mid to upper 90s for Friday. Humidity is way up on Friday also, so could have some storm chances for the end of the week. But the front that moves through Friday, guess what? That means cooler temperatures for the weekend, just in time, talking upper 70s both Saturday and Sunday.
We keep hitting this theme, the real heat, and a little break, and then bring the heat back.